Well, folks, we are live here, the Illini guys, halftime live. It is a Brad. I tell you, this game could be a bigger gap, but Illinois has been pretty methodical in playing a solid game. I just wish they would turn it into Superman mode.
It's fine. I mean, they're up 21-9 at halftime. If you told me they were going to be there, you take it. But at the same time, it's like it seems like they have left options out there. Just done some really silly things. Play calls on both sides of the ball. Gave up big plays in times when you didn't need to. You shouldn't have given up a big play. So I don't know. It's fine. I feel like there's more out there. I don't think this Michigan State team's very good. Yeah. And I think this is the kind of team at home you need to take care of business. And I guess we'll see what happens in the second half.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. I was thinking too as I watch this, I think Childs has a lot of potential, but in this world of transfers and those type of things, and I think Jonathan Smith has done a really good job with this team. But I wonder, does Michigan State have to worry about a guy like Childs and a guy like Nick Marsh deciding, hey, I can go win at Alabama or Oregon or you name the stud school, because they look like good players, and there's not much around them.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's the scary part about building a program in college football. It is hard to keep your players. It really is. I mean, it's hard to say, we got this really talented freshman. Well, everybody's going to have a big NIL package. I mean, I was just looking at these two guys. Imagine they go and replace Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter at Colorado next year. I mean, I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying there's any inkling. I'm just saying that can happen if you don't match NIL, if you don't create a really positive environment where kids want to play.
Yeah. Now, I will say Gabe Jacas looks like he is there's a lot of speculation this could be his last home game because of his NFL potential. He's playing like it's his last home game.
I agree. I think he's been great. The one thing about Jacas is, why does Illinois often have him playing in coverage? Just let him go get the quarterback. I mean, just like Simeon Rice, just let him go get the quarterback. Don't try and make him something he isn't. Let him rush the passer. And I get, we have schemes and this and that. Put guys in a position where they can be successful. I think he's successful if he can get after the quarterback. And I think that's his future. He's going to be a defensive end at the next level, or a rush linebacker, something like that.
Yeah. And I thought he has played a heck of a game. I got a little nervous with Altmaier, a little bit of, I don't know, the best way to say it is maybe some ball protection he needs to do a little bit better on when he's out there running. I think they made the allusion on TV to Walter Payton. That made me a little nervous. But as we go, he's avoided the interception, and Illinois is again methodically, playing quite well. Now they have an opportunity. Can they shut the door? Can they stop Michigan State on the opening drive and then put a touchdown up and make this a really tough game for Michigan State to come from behind?
I think that's what they need to do, is find a way to, get a stop, then go down and get a score, whether it's a touchdown, field goal, something to put points on the board here, and then kind of make it difficult, because if you make Michigan State make it hard for them and make them have to drop back and throw, 30 times, it's going to be hard for them to come back. The other question, Mike, I got to ask this question. Why does anyone throw the ball against Illinois? Yeah. I mean, why don't they just have the quarterback run? They don't stop quarterback runs at all. But nobody does it. It's like they do it like once in a while. I mean, design quarterback runs, they over pursue, they get caught, they go, it's just seems like it's yardage every time, and big yardage. Even when they spy the quarterback, they don't, they get stuck and they can't catch him. So you get a mobile quarterback, man, it's so hard to stop that in college football.
Yeah, and especially when you play man-to-man defense, because, exactly. Illinois' guys, the defenders are back there. And one of the first things I would coach if I was playing against Illinois to my wide receivers is you have to have some sort of expression. You don't want to make it look like, you got to keep their attention, act like you're going to get the ball, even if it's 3 seconds into it and you got a pretty good inkling behind you that Childs is running. if you don't betray that, the Illini defender will just keep going with you all the way down the field.
And then they played zone, and the one guy Patterson thought they were in man-to-man. And so we end up with a 57-yard touchdown or whatever it was. So, no, I think that Illinois defensively, that's one of their, I guess that's their kryptonite right now. They play a lot of man. So, whether it's crossing routes, whether it's using your quarterback runs, those are the things they're susceptible to. You'd like to see them change it up a little more. Maybe.
And Rosiak.
Offense.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Rosiak being out of there, I mean, he could kind of be the spy for these type of situations. Not that they were not perfect on it before that anyway, but it certainly makes it a lot tougher when you've got backups in that.
They gave up 9 points in the first half.
Yep.
If you give up 9 points in the second half, even if they make the extra point, we'll give them 10. You don't even have to score, and you still win. So the defense has been good enough. Today. I mean, maybe it's not all we want. It's been good enough, and that's really all you can ask for. And then, I would like to see them be a little bit, but this is Brett Bielema football. It's complementary football. It's the way they play. It's like the goal is to have a chance to win virtually every game. And if you look at their season, they're 6-3, counting this game. Now, even Penn State, they had a chance to win, I thought, in the second half. I thought
I agree.
They had a chance to win. So after this game, you're going to look at 10 games. They've had a chance to win 9 of them in the second half. Oregon, not so much, but they're on a different level. But, and I think when you look at the next 2 games, you're going to say 11 times we had a chance to win. So it's not a bad thing because it doesn't put you in that position. But I think what we'd like to see is them when they are the team that has more talent and has more depth and experience. It's time to go step on the jugular here in the third quarter as we start.
I totally agree. And that's something that we just haven't seen enough of. And to me, I don't think it's necessarily coaching. I don't think it's necessarily, I think it may be an indication that while this team is 6-3, they may not have the roster that has the ability to do that because they haven't done it. Just like Mike Tyson, 25 years ago would have knocked out Jake Paul in the first round. He didn't do it for 8 2-minute rounds because he no longer has the ability to do it.
Yeah. Oh, no question. He had ability maybe in that first round. I thought there was maybe one time he had a chance, to hit something, but that was it, but and I think you're right, but I think this is the day when they do. This is one of the few days where they do. I think this is a team that hasn't had a sack in 5 games now, 5.5 games, whatever it is. They haven't had they don't put much pressure on the quarterback. They're offensively, they're young. They've struggled in the second half. They are averaging 7 points per second half this year, which is the worst in the Big Ten. So when that happens, I think you look at it and say, man, this is a team. They need to come out, put them away in the second half, and have a fourth quarter where you're feeling really comfortable and you just kind of get ready for next week because the next 2 weeks are going to be tough as well and on the road. Yeah, because,
Northwestern hung with Ohio State longer than I thought they would, which is, past the opening kickoff. And I think Rutgers, on the other hand, is very well coached, and I think their quarterback's their biggest flaw, and I didn't like him at Minnesota and don't like him anymore at Rutgers. So,
and they also have a ton of injuries too. Rutgers does. They started off a little better, and they have a ton of injuries. So it's going to be, that's a game Illinois is probably going to be favored in if they go ahead and win this game.
Right. Well, and the other thing I kind of like is I liked what I saw from Josh McCray. I would like to see him get the ball a little more often. And the only other thing is, and I know I'm the only guy, I can't help it, but when you do that RPO where the running back has to wait for the handoff and he's just standing there motionless, and then he's got to start running, I just think that is so hard for the defense, or so much harder for him to catch up to guys who are already going full speed. But that obviously I'm the only guy who believes that.
No, you're not. You're not the only guy. And I think it works when you got guys with a ton of suddenness. I think that's why Khalil Valentine sometimes looks better in those situations because he has that quickness and suddenness. Josh McCray is like a guy, man, it's like, run him, power power eye type things. You know what I mean? And let him hit that hole coming downhill and get that 245 pounds going straight forward, right? But yeah, get him that momentum. But
And that
I
was
think
a heck of
Trey's
a
been good.
touchdown that he
His
had.
run
I
was
mean,
fantastic.
yeah,
Stiff arm.
stiff arm, and then a little ballerina tightrope act along the sideline. I mean, if I'm an NFL team, I'm watching him, and I'm also seeing the way he catches the ball out of the
Yeah,
backfield.
he's got really good hands out of the
Oh,
backfield.
I'm thinking to myself, okay, here's a guy that we can use in situations, and he also blocks well.
I thought,
mean,
Mike, he reminded me of when you were at the buffet and you had to go around that 70-year-old lady and you tiptoed around her with the plate up.
Yeah,
that was impressive. You just kind of gave her a stiff arm and got your plate full.
that was my suddenness.
That was your Josh McCray special. So it was impressive.
Yes. And so in this half, what are your keys then? What are you expecting Illinois to try to do here?
Well, I think they really have to focus on not making Michigan State run a lot of plays to get down the field. Don't give up big plays and keep the quarterback in the pocket. Don't let him do things with his legs. I think that defensively that's what they do. Offensively, they have to continue to use the run and the pass, but I really think they can throw the ball almost whenever they want, because I don't think they can cover the outside receivers or the tight end or slot. They've got so many guys open.
Yes.
On the field. And Altmaier, honestly, his stats look good. He really has missed a ton of open guys. Not with his throws. He's just missed them. Didn't see them. I mean, even Lawfrey on the touchdown came out. That's the first read. Should have been right there. Touchdown.
Right.
Now Franklin makes the great catch, but Franklin and Bryant, they can't cover those guys. Even Beatty had a nice catch in the slot. He dropped one, but then Arkin's been good at tight end. You've seen Kapka had the nice against the zone, find the seam. Those are they've got they can really get open, I think, against this secondary. And then, so put some points on the board. So I think those are the keys for me. I think the offensive line just got to keep doing their job. They had a couple of blown situations where they let the blown Geske had a really bad miss block early, but overall pretty good from them against a team that doesn't really put pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, a team that doesn't put pressure on the quarterback against a team that gives up a lot of sacks. This was the movable object versus the resistible force to see who's going to go ahead and do that. But I will tell you, I really have been impressed because Illinois gets up to a 21-9 lead, and they've done it just workmanlike. And now I'm hoping for just a little bit of explosion in the second half. I guess that shows you how you raise your expectations, because when I look at this schedule initially, I had a hard time finding 6 games when I went for a 6-6 prediction, and they have an opportunity with 2 games remaining to be at 7. So the team has performed well. But it would be nice to see them maybe flare up a little bit and close this one with a little bit of emphasis.
Yeah, and like I think I heard earlier, they haven't had a 9-win season. I know a couple years ago they were 8-4, but they haven't had 2007. So if you think about this is the opportunity is there, and to get a 9 and then win a bowl game and get to a 10-win season. I mean, it's right in front of them. Starts with this second half, just taking care of business.
Yep, it does. And I am one other thing I've got to say, though. I have been really impressed for a team that we thought was going to have real problems defending the run this year. They have been way better than we thought. And other than Childs, which is a little bit different version of the run, they've done a really nice job today of really bottling things up on the inside against this Spartan team.
They really have. I think T.J. Edwards has really shown that he's going to play at the next level. I mean, he really has. I think he's been good as kind of that stabilizing force in the middle. I was a little bit skeptical on some of the other guys, but they've done a really good job, especially when you consider they've got so many backup and young guys in there at linebacker, especially.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that we're seeing Indiana made a huge commitment to Curt Cignetti, signing him to $8 million a year and a multi-year contract that still may not convince somebody to come after him. But boy, if you're Indiana, you want them to make that college football playoff this year, so that Cignetti's busy and he won't be able to interview for a job at one of these places that might be hiring.
Yeah, and I think Indiana, they have their opportunity. I think if they're competitive next week at Ohio State and they win their last game against Purdue, which, well, they should, then they're going to be in the playoff. They might be the 11 seed, even at 11-1, but if they're competitive against Ohio State, they're guaranteed to be in. If they get blown out, then it puts them it's a little tougher because they don't have their strength schedule is god awful. I mean,
Yes.
it's like in the hundreds. So
yes, it's right there with Texas.
Yeah, almost as bad as Texas. Texas and Indiana share one thing in common. Their signature win is Michigan.
Yes, and this is not a year that's an impressive signature.
Yeah, last year that would have been a really good win. This year, it's
Win. So, folks, it's just about ready to go back to the kickoff for the second half. Brad and I and Ked will be live right as the game stops. So tune back in to Brad, Ked, or my Twitter. We would love to have you. We'll be talking about the game, and of course, we will have a lot of opportunities to get some feedback and incorporate that in. So if you're on Twitter, YouTube, whatever, make sure you ping us, and we will take your feedback. But we think this is going to be an opportunity for a big win, and there'll be a lot of crying if it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
what
I'm hoping for is that you have to text me because I fell asleep in the fourth quarter after they're up 24.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That's what I'm hoping for. So.
Yeah, and again, we're not kidding around. This has been a fantastic season so far by the Fighting Illini, and we're a little bit gluttony. It's been 6 wins already. We didn't expect that, and now we're trying to figure out how the team gets to 9. It's a great problem to have that we don't have at the University of Illinois very often. So with that, folks, we will see you after the game, and go Illini.